Afghan military reinforcements have arrived in Helmand province to do battle with Taliban fighters.
The fresh troops who have arrived on the outskirts of the town of Sangin will aim to engage the Taliban to fight in two locations to ease the pressure on the Afghan soldiers besieged by the militants in the town centre. But they will almost immediately be faced with the challenge of the area being mined by the insurgents. The army said they are now taking the fight to the Taliban, but the military have continued to struggle to hold on to Sangin. In a statement titled Helmand on the verge of victory, the Taliban have said they are close to taking over the key town.
That's a BBC's Shaina Halil. An Ethiopian opposition party says that government forces have killed more than 80 people in the past 4 weeks during peaceful protest. The Ethiopian Federal Democratic Unity Forum says the killing should be investigated. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. As the year draws to a close, Americans seem less inclined to buy a new house.
The Commerce Department says new home sales increased 4.3% in November to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 490,000. However, that increase was made possible because the sales rate for October was revised downward to 470,000 from 495,000. While the housing market has strengthened for much of 2015, it has noticeably cooled since September as purchases of new homes in the Northeast and Midwest have been uneven.
Correspondent Jeremy House. Low inflation gets the credit for helping to improve the mindset of consumers this month. The University of Michigan's widely watched Consumer Sentiment Index risen to its highest level since July. Tame inflation helps to boost people's buying power. Steady hiring also said to be a factor. It has dropped the unemployment rate to a 7-year low of 5%. More on these stories at townhall.com.
People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today. Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
And thank you very much, Ken Johnson. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us for your weekly extravaganza of Sports Scene every Wednesday, noon to 1, right here on News Talk 1650, tunein.com. Type in WHKT to listen anywhere on your phone or your computer. That's definitely the future. Of course, sports highlights on nnpstv.com as we present High School Football Week, all the great high school football games of 2015 by NNPS TV. Of course, go to the website for more information. Tell your friends about 1650 on Facebook, Twitter, at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, and HR1LineMall.com. Thank you to our military, great guest lineup. Matt Sims, of course, the Executive Director of the USCAA, will lead things off in just a few moments. Sponsors on GJBTV.com homepage and marketplace sponsors. Guest lineup presented by Spaghetti Eddie's. Phone line presented by Fink's Car Care as well. Sponsors this month on WHKT, Fink's Car Care, Mihogar, Crawl Space, Spaghetti Eddie's, and of course, want to welcome back Newcastle Coins and Collectibles starting in January. Of course, my opening scene of the day, the whole Odell Beckham thing presented by Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com. Here's my take, folks. Football is a gladiator sport. It is a violent sport. It's tackle football. You would rather have players have aggression on the football field than out in the streets. Just look at YouTube, type in argument arguments at restaurants is a lot worse than what you saw Odell Beckham do. He's in his 20s. He's a young kid. He's learning. I have no issue at all with Odell Beckham. He's a good person. If you're going to lose it on the football field. It's a highly competitive sport. And, of course, sometimes the testosterone takes the advantage of both. We'll be hearing testimonials from CP Shuckers as well as Saffron as well as Nimbus. All right, stay tuned right here. And, of course, Kenny is going to be very nice because he's not going to talk about Star Wars because yours truly is going to see it tonight. I couldn't see it because I was at the Redskins game Sunday. Ken and I will talk about it in length next Wednesday right here. Of course, a lot of you have not seen it yet, but, of course, it's dominated the news during the holiday season. Got to love this warm weather as well. All right, Sports Scene right here every Wednesday 12 to 1 at Greg Bickle on Twitter. We'll be back after these messages.
Is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads? At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
Melikilikimaka is a thing to say on a bright Hawaiian Christmas day. That's the island greeting.
I figure with the unseasonable temperatures, it feels kind of tropical, a little Hawaiian, a little Bing there with the Melikilikimaka.
Obi-Wan taught you well, Kenny.
I am not your father.
All right, well, of course.
I am your Uncle Ed, though.
That's it. All right. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, all that stuff. And to all our great listeners and fans, without you, we can't make it happen. At Greg Bickle on Twitter. And this, of course, is presented by Nimbus Vapes, 3813 Princess Anne Road in Virginia Beach, 470-5933. Help loved ones get off cigarettes. That's a big thing for the new year. Safe alternative to smoking, premium flavors, holiday headquarters, and, of course, great stocking stuffers open every day right there. Nimbus Vapes, 3813 Princess Anne Road in Virginia Beach. Go by and see the friendly staff. And, of course, learn all about vaping as well. Matt Sims, Executive Director of the USCAA, Old Dominion former student. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, Greg. How are you?
Very good. Tell us about your background. Of course, your career has really risen with the USCAA. Talk about all your background here in Hampton Roads.
Sure, it absolutely has. And I've grown up in this area. I grew up in Smithfield, just down the road from here. Went to Old Dominion University undergrad, where I did an internship. I worked for Bill Casto, who was a former athletic director at the Apprentice School. And from there, Bill was asked to come on as commissioner of this organization, the United States Collegiate Athletic Association. And I worked with him from 2005 to the present to help grow this organization. Went back to get my MBA from William & Mary. So I've been in the area for most of my life.
All about live, local, regional, and national. Today we're focusing on local and regional. And, of course, Matt, you talk about Bill Castro really had a big presence at William & Mary and the Apprentice School, kind of to spearhead the USCA with his background.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Bill was a football coach there at William & Mary and transitioned over to the Newport News Shipyard, where he became athletic director of the Apprentice School. Great man. He was my mentor, and he's certainly done unbelievable things, particularly with this organization that's grown from 42 members in 2005 to now almost 90 in 2015.
Wow, and of course, Bill Castro, of course, very involved. And you might remember at the apprentice school, probably the biggest name there was Norm Snead, the former Giants quarterback who coached, of course, the apprentice school as well, played for the New York Giants. Well, let's talk about the member schools in the USCAA. And one thing I want to talk to you about as well is you look at Hampton Roads as a sports body. There's always talk about stadiums and arenas opening up, but just in Hampton Roads alone, for the graduates of the Atlantic 10 or the CAA's headquarters are in Richmond. The Atlantic 10 headquarters are right there in the city center in Newport News. You guys are in the same place right there in Newport News. The MEAC is on the south side, and the CIAA as well is right here on the peninsula. So there's a lot of sports bodies right here in Hampton Roads.
There really are, and I know a lot of people probably aren't aware that we had that many governing bodies and conferences in this area. It's not Hampton Roads is not only a hotbed for great athletes, but it's a hotbed for sports. And I know that Hampton Roads and Richmond have really done an outstanding job of trying to attract those conferences and governing bodies, of bringing tournaments to the areas. That's what drives the economy, is bringing those outside dollars in.
And just like the outside dollar, so much now it seems like at the NFL and the collegiate level is about suites and the luxury and trying to make the game relevant to the viewer in the stadium, because so many people are connected mobily no matter where you go, whether you're shopping or you're going to a sporting event or a USCAA function. Everybody's connected to their phone or their computer.
Yeah, absolutely. The media platforms have really expanded over the years, and it's made governing bodies like ourselves really have to keep up with the technologies as it moves forward. You know, Greg, you broadcasted our baseball national championships, which were in May at War Memorial Stadium in Hampton. And recently, for the first time, we've been able to broadcast live our national championships. And for a small organization like ourselves, it's just amazing what it's done for brand recognition and the opportunity for people across the country to understand a little more about what we do.
And I was telling you, that's almost like the way ESPN3 is going in the future. I think everything is on your computer or your phone or the Watch ESPN app. They're promoting that just as much as they are on TV now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's really strong competition now as you look at all of the big players in the sports market. You have ESPN, you have NBC Sports, you have Fox Sports. And as that competition increases, they're always looking for new and unique content to put on those applications. I could see one day even our organization, the USCAA, which serves small colleges across the country, having the opportunity to have a national platform for our broadcast.
And one thing about, as we're talking to Matt Sims, executive director of the USCAA, and of course, you talk about the future is, it starts with your member schools, branding those schools, evolving those schools, and then maybe adding some more schools. What is the focus in the future? And talk about some of those member schools.
Sure. So, really to lay the platform, the United States Collegiate Athletic Association, we are a national governing body. When you look at the national landscape, there's the NCAA, which everyone knows about. There's the NAIA, which serves smaller institutions, predominantly in the Midwest. There's National Christian and Junior College, which are two-year institutions and Christian colleges. And then there's our organization, which serves small colleges with enrollments of 3,000 or less across the country. And so we're a niche organization that tries to level the playing field for small colleges across the country to compete against like institutions for national championships, scholar athletes, All-Americans. And because we are a national organization, we go after institutions from Maine all the way to the state of California. And I've been all over the country trying to brand and market what we do and to market that niche to those institutions. And, our efforts right now are really just to grow as an organization. I mentioned we've grown from 42 member institutions in 2005 to now almost 90 in 2015. There is a big need for small colleges who struggle and to compete to recruit and retain student athletes, which drives enrollment figures across the country, and their opportunity to communicate that they have a chance to compete for a national championship or a chance for their student athletes to compete for something really enhances their opportunity to recruit and retain.
And I tell you, that's a great point, too, because some of the better athletes, even in the NFL, look at Pierre Garçon, who played for the Redskins, they went to these small colleges. You don't have to go to a Division I or Division II school to be seen anymore.
No, you don't. And I say this all the time. There's a lot of reasons that student athletes will attend a small college. Many don't have the financial means to go somewhere large like a UVA or Virginia Tech or Old Dominion. Others need to stay near their families to take care of a mom or dad or a grandma. And for those student athletes, the opportunity for the small colleges locally to be able to serve them in that capacity and provide them the opportunity not only to compete, but to have unique opportunities for championships and recognition is very important.
Right here, talking to Matt Sims, Executive Director of the USCAA. Break that down for us, exactly what it stands for, and promote all your social media as well.
Sure. So USCAA is United States Collegiate Athletic Association. Facebook is /USCAA, and we're on Twitter @USCAA.
Very good. Talking right here to Matt Sims, of course. Don't forget to save the date each Wednesday for the best back-to-back talk shows in Hampton Roads. Sports Scene right now till 1 o'clock. Followed by the Sports Philosophy Show at 1 o'clock as well. That starts with Daryl Cummings and Jack Ankerson, both heard right here on News Talk 1650. TuneIn.com by typing WHKT in your search box. Depend on it. Of course, you sing all these bowls, and a lot of the times these bowls are television programming at its best. But you're also seeing that Division I athletes, at least, and you went to a Division I school just like I did at George Mason, that they get their stipends for meal money after games, especially at the Big Ten level or some of those levels, that these players don't have enough money for pizza. Then you hear about other schools corrupt, like, or coaches being suspended like Larry Brown at SMU. There's a fine line right there, Matt, between academics, athletics, activities, branding, boosters, and money for players. It's almost like there's such a big beast now. Television dictates everything. Television is dictating all these college bowls here, which really is an ESPN extravaganza.
Yeah, and money is the driver. And we talked about this a little bit earlier. You look at the landscape right now, there's 41 college bowl games. And, a lot of people look at that and say it's watered down. And I tend to agree with that. But there are two sides to the story. The bowl games provide an opportunity for a postseason game. And what is intercollegiate athletics about if it's not about providing opportunities for student athletes to compete? And not only that, it provides them a postseason opportunity, it also provides a fan base an opportunity to take a trip to a destination location and have a great experience as well. So, while I feel that the landscape is watered down, you have to look at it in both areas. And coming from my perspective of working with an organization that's dedicated to providing opportunities, I feel that those bowls are just one opportunity in the mix.
Right. It's an extra game for them. It's an extra game for the new coaches, the old coaches. But what I really don't like is teams being rewarded with losing records. That really doesn't set to me, because that's really never been relevant before, that it's okay to go 5-7. It's okay to have bad grades. It's okay to do bad in business and to fail to still get rewarded. And even if you win, you're still going to have a losing record. Sure, to me, that becomes just another game.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we saw this year as we were coming down to the wire, and you're seeing college teams who had those losing records. I mean, even the NCAA had to get together and put together a contingency plan of what was going to happen if they didn't have enough teams to qualify for the bowls. So that certainly is a problem and something that the NCAA should look at.
And you look at the school you went to before we talk more about the USCA. Old Dominion's really branded itself very well at the Constant Center. Been there since 02-03. Then you look at the women's team has played a lot in the past at the Field House. Now they're all playing at the Constant Center. They've even played, some games, of course, in the Scope as well. But it's important to have that arena. But then you look at the football stadium. It's outdated. The press box is outdated, but the suites are very nice. And they've grown almost too fast. They're an example of, starting from scratch, playing the Chawans of the world, who some of your teams have played against, to playing some of the better Division I teams in the country. And you're going to have growing pains along the way. And in 2016, people aren't as patient for, okay, we're 5-7, we're 6-6. They want to see you win yesterday.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And, I'll start out by saying I am very proud to be an alumnus of Old Dominion University. I thought that they've done a lot of really great things over the years. You look at the venues that they've added with the Constant Center, which is driving revenues, it's driving new fans, and it's driving unique events outside of just sports. But, as they come along, one of the things that people have difficulties with, as you mentioned, is losing, and not only losing, but not having the same rivalries that we've had in the past, and for the fan base not to understand who we're playing. And I think, if anything, that's the one thing that these institutions with volatility in the conference movement need to do, is to better brand their conferences and have a better understanding of who we're playing, and try to enhance and create rivalries amongst those institutions, regardless of whether they're in Texas or Virginia or wherever they are across the country.
And so much can be connected by one line because of that, too, as we're talking to Matt Sims, Executive Director of the USCAA. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us, talking sports, talking business, talking collegiate athletics, talking about social media. And you and I talked about this a lot off the air, too, is how you're trying to brand future tournaments in certain regional markets as well. I mean, you look at, for years, the CAA tournament back in the day was here at the Hampton Coliseum. It had a big home there in Richmond for years. Now it's in Baltimore. The commissioner, Tom Yeager, is stepping down. The MEAC has enjoyed success in Norfolk. They got member schools, Hampton, and, of course, Norfolk State right here. Are you trying to do the same thing, where you're trying to make a certain event more of a regional event, but also a national event as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And so what we did about 5 or 6 years ago was we brought all of our basketball championships. We have 4 divisions: men's division 1 and 2, women's division 1 and 2, to one region. And what we saw was, obviously, you're going to have greater economic impact. You have more heads in beds. You have more people shopping. You have more people going to local restaurants. In a very small market in southwestern Pennsylvania, that event alone has a direct spending of almost $600,000 right now. What we'd like to do here in the near future is bring each of our fall championships together. That would be cross country, volleyball, and soccer, and have USCAA Fall Championship Week in one city or destination, drive a very strong economic impact, and probably have a greater chance of working with local businesses and leaders and convention and visitors bureaus to help support us in the logistics and the financial backing of hosting those events. Virginia Beach and Richmond are 2 of the areas that we're looking at right now and working on that.
And of course, Williamsburg, we talked about this off the air, is such a big tourist attraction for the holidays. And you see what is going on at the different functions there as well, always holiday geared. But there are some areas that are better sports towns, let's face it, than others. Our area is always perceived as a minor league town, but now you see Virginia Beach wants to move forward. And what do you think about that prospect of an arena? Then you drive on 264 there, and you see the Top Golf facility. Looks like, I thought it was a baseball minor league facility being built right there. It was so big. That is going to supersede a lot of things this summer.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the area is doing a lot of great things to try to enhance what we're doing with regard to tourism. Obviously, when it comes specifically to sports and what we do, the city that is going to attract us has to have the venue that makes sense, and they're going to have sort of a destination location, great lodging, and some of those unique opportunities for visitors. That's what we look at. And I know that's, in speaking with people in the Convention and Visitors Bureaus and the tourism bureaus with Richmond and Virginia Beach, that's what drives their line of thinking, is what can we do as a city to make it really a well-rounded and unique trip for people coming out of town, and what's going to make them come to these events that are being hosted.
When you see like the ACC being represented in bowls, or the Big Ten, or at the NCAA basketball tournament, the commissioners and of course the conferences, share the money a little bit. How does that work for your schools, and how does it start with the USCA office itself distributing the money? How does that work? A lot of people probably want to know that.
So when it comes to keep in mind, we are a much smaller organization than the NCAA. So when it comes to distribution of money, generally there's going to be 2 ways that things are set up. Our larger events like basketball, there's going to be grant monies that come in from a CVB. There's going to be sponsorship dollars that are brought in from local businesses who are trying to attract the tourism dollars that are coming in. And generally, our organization, our governing body, we take that money and we choose generally most of the money is allocated to the event itself and to putting on that event. For our smaller events, a lot of those are going to be financially backed by the member institutions themselves. And you see that on a much broader scale, a much larger scale in the NCAA, where you have the regional host for NCAA basketball tournaments, Old Dominion, which has hosted the women's basketball tournament, who are backing a lot of that really in an effort that they can drive their sponsorships locally and that they can take in those the ticket gate and those things.
Talking to Matt Sims, but really it's grassroots. It's really up to your member schools, your alumni, your office staff to promote the brand, constantly promote the brand. I mean, you need your member schools, you need the athletic directors, you need the alumni all on board, all on the same page to promote the fledgling affiliations, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be a broad scale effort, and the way you begin is really communicating out a solid platform and mission statement. And that's what we did several years ago, is that we wanted each of our member institutions to understand exactly who we were, and make sure that when they are talking about us, they're saying the same things that we are as a brand. And that's the most important part about branding, is just a consistent message.
And what's that consistency going to look like in 2016? What are you most excited about in the first and second quarter?
Yeah, for our organization, I think it's growth. I think it's conference alignment, which has started to come into play with our organization now that we're up to about 90 members. We have 3 conferences now within our organization. We're trying to push that platform out to other institutions across the board. And the other thing would just be to enhance our championship experience and ensure that we're giving student athletes at small colleges a great opportunity.
Matt, go ahead and promote your contact information and your member staff as well.
Certainly, I appreciate that. And our website is www.theuscaa.com. Our offices are located in City Center and Newport News. Check us out on Twitter at the USCAA, and you may be seeing a lot more of us here locally, either in Virginia Beach or Richmond in the coming future.
Right, or of course, you can connect on social media as well, and that's really the future. Matt, thank you so much for joining me in the studio today. Merry Christmas to you and your family. It's really been a pleasure working with you as well.
Merry Christmas, Greg. Thanks for having me.
Great staff right there. All right, former Old Dominion student right there, doing very well, executive director of the USCAA. Kenny, take it away. Sports Scene will continue.
Treacherous driving conditions out there. We've had several crashes this morning already. Say heading to the afternoon. Let's try to avoid any more than that. Rain coming down, making visibility difficult. In addition, we've got a lot of fog. Coleman Bridge, High Rise Bridge, Hampton Roads, Bridgestone, Monterey Merrimack, Jamesburg Bridge all have fog alerts in place, and there's flooding in a few places as well. Not going to let up anytime soon. Some afternoon thunderstorms, 76. Evening thunderstorms, 70 tonight. Christmas Eve, scattered showers and thunderstorms, a high of 81. And for Christmas Day, scattered thunderstorms and a high of 75 degrees. We'll probably have 10 feet of snow next year. News is next. Stay tuned for more sports.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Governor Mark Dayton says 30 Minnesota State Patrol officers will help handle an expected protest today at the Mall of America. Local Black Lives Matter organizers plan the demonstration. Severe storms sweeping across the country's midsection. A death has been reported in Arkansas. The Pope County Sheriff's Office says a person was killed when a tree fell on a house. U.S. transportation officials say they have confirmed an 8th U.S. death due to an explosive airbag made by auto parts manufacturer Takata. Republican presidential hopeful Ted Cruz says a Washington Post cartoon depicting his 5- and 7-year-old daughters as monkeys is inappropriate and that children of candidates should be off limits in campaigns. On Wall Street, the Dow up about 153 points. More details at srnnews.com.
You made the powerful, faith-filled War Room the #1 movie in America.
This is my favorite place in this house. I call it my War Room.
Now you can own War Room on Blu-ray and DVD, just in time for Christmas. Give someone you love the gift of War Room.
You do your fighting in prayer.
Starring Alex Kendrick, Priscilla Shirer, T.C. Stallings, Beth Moore, and Karen Abercrombie as Miss Clara.
Raise them up, Lord, raise them up.
War Room, now available on Blu-ray, DVD, and digital HD. Rated PG.
Hey, want to step into my cough cloud?
Your what?
Baby, when I cough, I expel a cloud of droplets that hangs in the air all around me. It's wet, wild, and potentially virus-filled. And it's big enough for 2.
Ugh, cough clouds are sick. So take Robitussin DM Max. It soothes your throat and delivers fast, powerful cough relief. Robitussin, because it's never just a cough. Use as directed.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires alignments, and showcase Win automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com.
The place for authentic Indian food is the India Palace. They feature authentic Indian cuisine, have a party hall, and do catering and banquets. Open daily for lunch and dinner, they feature an excellent lunch buffet at their 2 establishments. Visit the 2 locations, 1437 Sam's Drive in Chesapeake off Battlefield and 5600 Virginia Beach Boulevard. Online, IndiaPalaceVB.com. On Facebook, look for India Palace Virginia Beach and India Palace Bar and Grill. Call 410-1183 for the India Palace. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by Hampton Roads Online Mall.com.
All right, I want to thank right there Matt Sims, Executive Director of the USCAA. Stay tuned for Jack Eikenbary in just a few moments. PapaJohns.com, official pizza sponsor of the NFL. Create your own pizza at Papa John's on Twitter, Facebook, Papa Rewards, better ingredients, better pizza at Papa John's as well. And, of course, this is Sports Scene every Wednesday, noon to 1. Go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. Shop in the Marketplace sponsors. Save the date for Sports Scene every Wednesday from noon to 1. Of course, all powered by Hampton Roads Online Mall.com. Redskins Eagles, big game this Saturday night. Bowls going on. Virginia Tech still, of course, got a bowl game to look forward to with Frank Beamer. Of course, NFL final 2 weeks of the year. NBA heating up, of course. The Sixers continue to be horrible this year. Looking forward to a big Christmas Day game with, of course, the Cavaliers and Golden State. And, of course, happy holidays to everyone. Thank you to all our guests. 2 years and counting right here on Sports Scene on News Talk 1650. My background, my entire radio TV background on gjbtv.com. And thank you to all our sponsors. Support them each and every day. You hear them right here on Sports Scene on News Talk 1650, as well as my other radio and TV platforms. Of course, Fink's Car Care, Mi Hogar, Crawl Space, Spaghetti Eddie's, and of course Newcastle starting in January. All right, let's welcome from the Norfolk Admirals. We've had their head coach on here recently as well. Of course, go to gjbtv.com to hit the YouTube link for archive shows. Let's welcome Jack Eikenbary. How are you, Jack?
Doing well, Greg. Thanks for having me.
Very good. We've had you on before as well. And, Jack, let's go ahead and give us a report card, my friend. It wasn't too long ago you were a student at Virginia Tech. Your report card through December 23rd for the Admirals. The transition is still a work in progress.
It is still a work in progress, but I think things have gone well for the most part through this first portion of the season. The team struggled early, and they're still trying to kind of find their bearings a little bit, but we've just started to win games more often, which is obviously a good thing. And I think attendance will kind of start to warm up here soon with the end of high school football and college football kind of coming to an end here. But like you said, it's a work in progress. But I think through the first about first third of the season, I think we've done pretty well.
Yeah, hockey really picks up January, February, March in the first quarter. Just like the NBA, people start paying attention to it after Christmas Day, of course, and of course during Christmas Day as well. Your day-to-day functions, you're in the public relations, and of course you work very closely with the front office staff.
Yeah, that's right. I basically handle the media relations and public relations duties for the team. So, as far as getting players and coaches for interviews, that all goes through me. It's been fun getting to know some of these guys. I think Eric Veilleux is a great coach, and I think he's the right guy for the job. Got a lot of young players. We're a young team with not a whole lot of experience, and I think that showed in the the opening weeks of the season. But what also has shown here lately is that we've just gotten more comfortable playing with each other, and I think these young guys are really starting to get their bearings here in the ECHL.
How have the fans reacted from the AHL to the ECHL?
Well, some positive, some negative, but I think again for the most part, I think people have taken kindly to the brand of ECHL hockey that we're playing here. There was some skepticism prior to the seasons. There were a lot of people thinking that the quality of play would, may take a significant drop off. But I think if you ask most people, that is the case. These guys are pretty skilled, and they're looking to get to the AHL. So I think there's been some mixed reviews, but I think for the majority of people, they're satisfied with what they see in terms of the quality of hockey night in and night out.
All right, it's lunchtime. Don't forget, MiCasitaMexican.com with 2 great locations in Virginia Beach for all your great Mexican food. Talking to Jack Eikenbary, involved with public relations and media relations with the Norfolk Admirals, of course. And Joe Gregory, your general manager, continuing to balance 2 acts with the Tides and, of course, the Admirals as well.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it, but it's always impressed me the way he's been able to, like you said, juggle those 2 very significant positions inside 2 organizations. He's the general manager of the Norfolk Tides, and he's the executive vice president of the Norfolk Admirals. And not too long ago, when Greg, we were trying to get him on this show. He was in Nashville for the baseball winter meetings, and he's a busy guy. It's being having some positions high up in 2 organizations. That'll keep you busy, and but I think he's done a great job with both, and like I said, it's always impressed me. That's for sure.
What I like about Joe the most is great demeanor. He handles people so well. He's very calm, cool, collected, where a lot of people would be rattled. He's really got a great temperament for being the general manager for both sports teams in Hampton Roads. As we're talking to Jack Eikenbary, Jack, of course, a little bit of a break before you play at home again.
Yeah. The guys, they started their Christmas break on Sunday, and then will last all the way until really Christmas Day. The guys have to report back to travel, to begin to travel down to South Carolina. But yeah, after that, that's the start of a 4-game road trip to end 2015, and then we come back home on January 2nd. Which will be fun for sure. That's going to be health and wellness night. So all of you guys who are just beginning your New Year's resolutions will have some local clinics, some local fitness centers out there. You can talk to them for more information about what they offer, and that'll be against the Atlanta Gladiators at 7:15 p.m. on January 2nd.
And, of course, you can hear the games right here on TuneIn.com. Type in WHKT with Pete, and, of course, on 1650 on the radio as well.
Yes, we offer a couple different platforms to be able to listen to the game. Like you said, we offer it on TuneIn.com. Just search up 1650, and we also are on the radio itself on 1650 AM. interested in watching the game, you can go to echl.tv, and they have a couple different options as far as kind of a pay-per-view system. So we're out there. Definitely come find us. And like I said, next home game, January 2nd at 7:15 p.m. at Scope.
I got to leave you the football note. Of course, you and I both have some Ohio State background. My mom went there, of course. I know you like Ohio State. I'm neutral. I work for Fox, so I'm neutral. I don't root for anybody. People always say, "Who do you?" I went to George Mason. I've learned what my dad told me a long time ago. May the best team win. I don't get carried away. But I got to get your thoughts on this. Independence Bowl for Virginia Tech against Tulsa, the day after Christmas in Shreveport, Louisiana. You've been to a lot of minor league towns. You know how difficult it is to travel, let alone during the holidays. What a way to send Beamer off. Okay, of all the bowls, go to Shreveport, the day after Christmas, and of course you're playing a team, Tulsa, and there's a lot of things Tech has done right with the hire, but a lot of things wrong they've done as well. I want to get your take on the whole Tech situation.
Well, as far as the bowl game is concerned, I think that had a lot to do with the Independence Bowl being the bowl that started the Frank Beamer's bowl streak. So I think with our 6-6 record, I think the powers that be kind of looked at us and said, well, that would be an appropriate bowl, and this is also this has some sentimental value for Frank Beamer. So I think it just kind of fit. It's not the most glamorous bowl game that we could have hoped to be in, but at the same time, we have the chance to, finish the season with a winning record against a pretty high-flying, high-powered team, and a chance to send Beamer off with the last bowl win. I think Babcock did a pretty good job of finding that next head coach in a timely manner. Beamer obviously announced his retirement in early November, and Witt basically, he had time to look around for some guys. Beamer announcing his retirement earlier in the season allowed him to put some feelers out before these other big programs could, and I think that's how we kind of got Justin Fuente. And I'm really excited about Fuente keeping as many of Beamer's staff members on as he has already. I think there's either 4 or 5 total. But I think the future for Virginia Tech is bright, and I'm looking forward to seeing the kind of impact Justin Fuente has and how early the impact can come.
Yeah, I think it was a good hire, but I kind of like what Virginia did. They cleaned house. I mean, you have an assistant like Foster there for 30 years coming up in 2016. They're going to be players that are going to confide into him, although I'm not sure what his head coaching aspirations are. I know Beamer wanted his son or Foster to get the job. In a perfect world, that did not happen. But anytime you leave a tenured assistant, some of the juniors and seniors who are more familiar with Foster, it's a comfort zone. It's a blanket. Hey, coach, we don't like this. So there's going to be some of that. I mean, it's human nature when the practices go wrong, and you know how tenuous positions are to get a starting quarterback or running back. You have to have a good quarterback. You have to have a good head coach, and of course Fuente will run the offense, of course, and Foster will run the defense.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, it's natural. There will probably be some guys who, are just immediately more comfortable with Foster. Now that's going to happen when Foster has already coached these guys for 1, 2, or 3 years. But at the same time, I think that's good because there are players that now, familiar faces will still be around for them to talk to and confide in. I'm happy that Fuente kept them because I do think Bud Foster is one of the best defensive minds in the country. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting dynamic, and I've read a little bit about Fuente kind of acknowledging that hey, we're going to have to make some personalities kind of fit together and all that. But either way, I think we're headed in the right direction, and like I said, I'm excited for the future of Virginia Tech football.
All right, Jack, NorfolkAdmirals.com. Back after the first of the year, of course. Follow him right here on 1650. All the best to you, and happy holidays, my friend.
Thank you, Greg. Happy holidays to you as well.
Very good. Jack Eikenbary of the Norfolk Admirals. A locals tradition is CP Shuckers with locations on Shore Drive and Pacific Avenue. People love their prime rib, seafood, pasta, burgers, wings, and much more. Watch all the bowls. Watch Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, the big Redskins Eagles game this Saturday night as well. The bowls, NBA, NHL, all the sporting events right there at CP Shuckers. For more, go to cpshuckers.com. Go by and see Matt and Mark and eat or be eaten at CP Shuckers and like them on Facebook as well. Stay tuned. This is Sports Scene right here on 1650 on the radio. TuneIn.com. Type in WHKT. We'll be back after these messages.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
Tune in to the Sports Philosophy Show featuring former professional sports general manager and NCAA sports announcer Jack Ankerson, along with 22-year NCAA coach Darryl Cummings. They have unique and insightful views on sports and will talk to guests throughout the sports world. The Sports Philosophy Show can be heard Wednesday 1 to 2 p.m. on WHKT 1650 AM in Hampton Roads and worldwide using the TuneIn.com radio app. For more information, go to thesportsphilosophy.show.com. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio. I hear these singers work for peanuts.
Yeah, they must be. I like your theme, the Mickey Mouse theme, a little bit better. But, of course, I saw the Christmas Carol last night with a friend at the Wells Theater. Kenny, you know what a great theater that is in Norfolk, and really brought you in that Christmas mode of past, present, and future. I think a lot of people reminisce a lot during the holidays. Of course, you and I think about our parents all the time as well. Saffron Mediterranean Cuisine, 10417 Warwick Boulevard in Newport News, saffroncuisine.org. ABC license now, of course, open for Christmas, catered office parties, delicious lunch and dinner, carry-out orders, lunch buffet as well, vegetarian and gluten-free options. Go by and see the friendly staff right there in Hilton Village. Great shish kebabs and kebabs as well. Children's menu. They handle all of your business and personal catering needs, of course. Open for the holidays right there. Saffron Mediterranean Cuisine. Open daily, of course. Dine-in, carry-out, and catering. Delicious food. Kebabs, wraps. They have it all right there by the friendly staff. Hot appetizers, cold appetizers, entrees, fish, desserts, like I said, chicken, beef, seafood, lamb. It's all right there at the one and only Saffron Mediterranean Cuisine. Mention Greg or WHKT, get a free appetizer right there. If you're riding right now Warwick Boulevard, go by and just say Greg or WHKT. You'll get a free appetizer from Saffron Mediterranean Cuisine. No excuse, folks. You can Google it. 10417 Warwick Boulevard. All right, our business spotlight scene. You need to buy those holiday gifts. 757 Sports Collectibles. Let's welcome Anthony Checchio. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Greg. How's it going, man?
Good. Happy holidays to you, my friend.
Happy holidays to you, too, and all the viewers out there, all the listeners.
Yes. Let's talk about your great store on Virginia Beach Boulevard.
Yeah, let's talk about it. It's a great place to get your last-second holiday items. We have everything from headwear to third-party authenticated autographs and different types of wool sports banners, some car accessories. We've got a little bit of everything.
You really do. I mean, there is something for everyone, and really for the sports fan, you cannot go wrong. You've got attire, you've got collectibles. I mean, let's talk about the inventory.
All right, yeah. Basically, anything you can think of other than the jerseys at the moment, we haven't been able to secure the Nike account, so we're still working on that. Hopefully that's a future plan, but I can't actually get those on my website. Everything's filled through a third-party vendor, which is basically biggest online vendor, Fanatics.com. So you can pretty much get anything you can think of. We have over 400,000 products on the internet that you can access. So if you can't find it in store, you can find it online.
Well, let's talk about your what you have online as far as your social media. You're involved with that as well, and of course your great website. You can see it on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Just click the image, you can go right to Anthony's website. Talk about it.
Basically, if you go through to the website, we're going to have a few different options for you. We have all the NFL teams, all the NBA teams, all the MLB teams, and all NHL teams. We're currently building out the college section as we speak. It's kind of an expansive thing because we have access to over 300 different colleges. So we're still working on that. We're going to work on NASCAR also. And then if you keep an eye on my site, we're going to be having actual autograph signings in the store. So those will be posted, periodically once we hit 2016 here. And then I also have a autograph authenticity verification on there, where you can go on, you put in our hologram code. It shows you all the information about the product. It shows you the day it was signed, where it was signed. Typically has a photo of the guy signing the item as well. So you're getting the real thing. And then we also have information on the charity auctions, which is basically a no risk, no cost to the charity. We work out a consignment deal, bids up, and basically make money for your charity or fundraising goals.
Right, talking to Anthony Checchio from 757 Sports Collectibles. What a really neat store. Browse, shop, and visit right there on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com and see his great link. And, of course, he's active on Twitter. I guess, Anthony, too, see the Redskins are doing very well, which is rare. The Ravens struggling, of course. But I guess as the NFL playoffs get closer, you're going to start selling more of those relevant teams.
Sure, yeah. Of course, we're going to try to stock everybody that's in the playoffs as much as we can. As you know, as the teams get more and more popular, it gets a little tougher and tougher to get the product in. So I would expect we'd be able to get everything. And if we can't get it in store, like I said, we always have it on 757sc.com. So you can check there as well. If you can't even make it into the store due to weather, due to other engagements, you can always check the online store as well.
And your address and your hours?
It is 2686 Virginia Beach Boulevard, Virginia Beach, and then it's 23452. We're right across from RK Chevrolet on the boulevard, and our hours are 10:30 to 7:30 at the moment during the week, and then 10 to 7 on Saturday, and then 12 to 6 on Sunday. May be subject to change once we get out of the holiday season here, but at the moment, that's what's posted.
Anthony, all the best to you, my friend. Happy holidays, and we'll talk to you after the first of the year.
Hey, Greg, thanks for having me. Happy holidays. Have a great one.
My pleasure. Thank you, my friend. Okay. Kenny, let's get to what tees me off. Hey, Kenny.
What tees you off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
All right, Kenny, a lot tees you off, of course. So why don't you lead off what tees you off right now?
Oh, so many things. Mainly disappointment that people who should be better than we are, we're a species that can get to another orbit. I mean, we went to the moon and back, so we're not stupid, we're not cavemen, but so many people act like it. Just on the roads every day, out in public, you run across people, and to my mind, I just stop and think, you're better than that. What is wrong with you? It doesn't take that much effort to be a better person. When you see two sizes of cups, a large and a small, don't ask for the medium. When you're going to make a turn, there's a little thing on the column there. It's called a signal. Let the other people know what you're going to do. Just be a little bit better person. You don't have to be perfect. No one's asking you to be perfect. Just try a little bit to be a little bit better.
Like double parking, or say, oh, excuse me, you double park, rather than, all the F-bombs that go along with it. All right, how about, a little bit more patience during the holidays, Ken, because everybody's stressed right now, whether it's trying to go to the big W store, the grocery store, doing laundry, doing dry cleaning, whatever. It seems like every errand, every U-turn for that matter, like you said, every left turn is drama right now.
Yeah, a lot of people are offended and take offense at everything, even things they shouldn't take offense at.
Coaches that preach stay the course, Ken, and end up quitting in the middle of the season Hello, Steve Spurrier. You're going to be remembered for quitting on your team at South Carolina. Bo Ryan at Wisconsin, I'm sorry, you quit right in the middle of the season. Bad music at establishments, Kenny. That the music is so loud that, I was at a Ravens game recently and they're absolutely horrible. And they're halftime music that at most they're doing that to let the fans, take their minds off the losing record. But the music sounded like VHS material.
Really? It's that bad?
Yes. Food that has been sitting on a buffet station for hours, Kenny.
Oh, yeah. There's Ptomaine City. Especially, it's one thing if it's something that doesn't degrade too badly, but things that have dairy products or meat or fish or something, you just leave it sit there for hours and hours. Why not just hand somebody something that'll make them hurl right away and be done with it?
Kenny, how about this one? You have to look at me for this. People that don't get the hint.
Oh, yeah. Well, they are legends in their own mind.
First class mail, listen to this, that takes 1 week to get to where it needs to be. I sent something from Virginia to Illinois, snail mail, first class 1 week. The girl sent me something from Illinois from a Friday. I got it on a Monday, so who figures snail mail?
I always think that FedEx and UPS should merge and they could call it Fed Up.
Yeah, exactly. Keeping someone guessing or delaying. How about just a simple yes or no? It's the holidays. People's patience is thin. Email, respond. Text, respond. Phone call, respond. Yes or no goes a long way, Kenny.
Yeah, and there's no point in leaving people hanging.
Right. Parking lot wars this time of the year, Kenny. That really does happen no matter where you are going.
Saw one of the funniest posts today. Someone said, I'm bored. I think I'll go to a big shopping center, find a prime parking spot, and then sit there with the gear in reverse for hours.
Yeah.
Watch the people pile up behind you. Oh, that spot!
Kenny, thanks for being a good sport because I'm going to see Star Wars tonight, so we will talk about it in length.
So I shouldn't tell you about?
No, please don't. I want to see it tonight, 7 o'clock. Yours truly will be there. For more, go to gjbtv.com, hit the YouTube link, spread the word about Sports Scene every Wednesday, 12 to 1 right here. Of course, I want to thank our guests today, Matt Sims, Jack Eikenbary, Anthony Checchio right there. Of course, all powered by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com, our great sponsors as well. And, of course, @GregBick on Twitter and gjbtv.com, powered by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. 2 days before Christmas, browse, shop, visit. Happy holidays. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. Don't text on the road. Be kind to your friends. And we look forward to talking to you next Wednesday. For Ken Johnson, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. Happy Wednesday. We'll talk to you soon.
AM 1650 WHKT Portsmouth, 1 p.m.